We are now over 1 year since the real estate slowdown began. Interest rates went up a little bit from March of 2022 till about May, and then May 23rd to June 10th, rates went up 1 point in 17 days, and since then, the whole market changed. What has changed more than anything? I'll tell you what's fascinated me is the amount of home sellers that are willing to stay in their properties, even when they need to move. If they don't need to move that bad, they're staying in their properties because they don't want to lose their mortgage interest rate. The average mortgage interest rate nowadays is hovering right around 7%. It was high sixes, even sometimes a little lower. Then we hit about mid-June and it went up higher to 7, and that held even more people back from listing. So the low inventory, low amount of listings saga continues. Very interesting time. Now that has also made it so that prices have not gone down. Anthony Lamacchia here, broker owner of Lamacchia Realty, and I am here to talk to you about various reports that we've put out in the last couple of weeks. We've got our mid-year review. We have a report on how we've seen the least amount of homes listed in the first half of the year of any first half of the year ever, as far back as records have been kept. I'm going to start off with showing you that, and then I'm going to talk about what this means to buyers and sellers and the kinds of things that you should be thinking about. So let me jump in first with this headline right here. Look at this, folks. First half of 2023, lowest number of homes listed for sale in recorded history. I want to clarify and be very clear with everyone. That's the amount of homes listed, not actually for sale at a given moment, although that's very low as well. This is the amount that have actually been put up for sale. So 2 or 3 years ago, when inventory really started going down, really over 3 years now, a lot of that was because the demand was so high. We still have high demand, not as high as we did 2 and 3 years ago with lower rates, but with a lack of people listing, it's making it so that the supply is substantially constrained. So I want to show you some graphs. We have all the states here, but for the purpose of this video, we're talking about the Massachusetts market. I want to hone in on what is going on right here in Massachusetts, okay? So the bottom bars represent the first quarter and the second quarter, the amount of homes listed each year. You can see it's pretty clear. Least amount of homes listed in the first quarter, least amount of homes listed in the second quarter. Now this line graph on top shows the amount of homes that have been listed for sale as of June 30th in the first half of the year. Look at that, folks. We're right around 38,000-ish, lowest ever. Last time it was even close, 1995, and I will tell you, it really wasn't even that close then. That was at the beginning of MLS really becoming prevalent, so it really wasn't that low. In our opinion, in some of the veterans that I've talked to, and reading housing data reports all the way back to the late 70s, this is the least amount of homes listed for sale since about 1981 or 1982. Right in that vicinity is the last time this incredibly low amount of homes has been listed. So what do you do if you are a buyer? Well, you have to deal with it. You have to realize that even though rates are up, prices are not falling apart. And I'm going to show you that right now because I'm going to jump into our mid-year housing report and I'm going to show you the highlights from it. Take a look at this. I just have to switch to the screen. 2023 Massachusetts Housing Mid-Year Report. Look at this, folks. Home sales down 24.8%. Call it 25%. That means the amount of homes that have actually sold is down 25%. Here's what I want to show you that's very interesting to me. Watch this. I'm going to click the same report that we had put out in July of 22, talking about the first half of 22, and look what it shows. 2022, first half of the year, home sales were down about 11%. So you take that 11, okay, you put that on top of 25% year to date. Folks, home sales are down from the peak in 2021 by 36%. This is astounding. But stay with me, hang on, hear me out, don't get all doom and gloom. Watch this. Average prices in Massachusetts up 1.7%. So the good news for buyers, and this is good news, prices are not going up like they were. They're basically flat. Anytime you see prices up a percentage or two or down a percentage or two, it essentially means it's flat, because there could be an outlier sale that's skewing it, or an outlier handful of sales that's skewing it. 1.7% prices have gone up from the first 6 months of 2022. So prices have gone up a little bit, or you could call it flat. Sales are down 25% from a year ago, 36% from 2022. It is what it is, folks, but look at how much the numbers correlate. Look at this. Just want to make sure you can see it in the screen. Bottom left corner, homes listed for sale, down 24.5%. Less homes listed equals less homes selling, okay? Homes pending, down 20%. What does that tell me? A little bit of a discrepancy there. Inventory is going to start to improve in the weeks to come. I think that it would have by now, but rates clicking back up over 7 in late June caused a lot of sellers that were going to list to say, I'll wait, okay? Let me keep going here and see if there's anything else noteworthy that I'd like to talk to you about. This is the amount of homes per week that is listed in Massachusetts. The purple line, okay? Purple line represents 2023. Every single week there's less homes listed than all years prior, except for that odd period during COVID, okay? This is what is stopping prices from coming down. For those of you buyers who have this fiction in your head that prices are just going to fall apart, it's going to be 2008 all over again, you are wrong. You were wrong when you said it at the beginning of COVID, and I told you it wouldn't happen then. I'm telling you it won't happen now. However, could we see some additional softening in the next 1 to 2 years? Yes, and I think we will, and I'll tell you why. When interest rates come down, two things are going to happen. There's going to be a lot of buyers that come back into the market. There's also going to be a lot of sellers who come back in. And I believe there'll be a slight imbalance. I believe there will be more sellers that rush back in than buyers. And that's going to cause things to soften a little. So next year at this time, when I'm sitting here doing a mid-year update, I wouldn't be surprised if prices are at 0% growth or -1 or +1, but it's going to be flat. It's going to stay somewhere in that range for a couple of years. Could they dip potentially? Possibly. We're seeing that a bit in Florida, but Florida is a different market. Florida is a market that's affected by vacation goers, second home buyers, many affluent folks, particularly in South Florida. That's many different factors that play in there, but I thought I'd mention it here because it's interesting information. So if you're a buyer and you can get pre-approved to buy now, don't hold off because you're hoping for the sky to fall out and prices to just collapse. It's not going to happen. There's not enough inventory for sale. Let me jump back in. I'm going to show you a couple more things, and then I'll wrap up the report. Hang on. Okay, I'm going to get this to project. All right, have a look at this. This is the amount of homes. See how it says snapshot right there? This is the amount of homes for sale. Every Saturday, we have this data back to 2011. Actually, we have it back to 2000. But for the purpose of the line graph, we only show you the last 6 years or 7 years because it gets to be too many squiggly lines, and it goes so much higher it skews the graph. So check this out. Purple line, 2023. Notice what I'm talking about right here. Notice the prior 2 years. Notice the prior years, okay? Hang on, I just want to make sure you can see it well, okay? So notice how when you get to June, inventory usually really starts to lift. It hasn't happened this year. Why hasn't it happened? Because rates went back up over 7s in June, screwed things up. A lot of sellers said, forget it, I'll stay, I want to keep my rate. Also, more vacations than ever, particularly after the July 4th holiday. Tremendous amount of vacations. That stalled things out. People feel pent up. People are excited to get back out there. So that's a snapshot. So if you're a home buyer, I don't want you to hear this and think, oh, it's all bad news. I want to see tons of homes for sale. Listen, as time goes on, we are going to work our way out of this. At our company meetings and updates, I've told the agents that I believe we are in the 4th quarter of this low inventory crisis. I do. But we've got a little ways to go. And it's not going to get dramatically better in the fall months. because in the fall months, there's not droves of people that list. There's people that do it more in the spring, but in the spring it gets eaten up. Home buyers, I should tell you unequivocally, the best time of year to buy is the second half of the year. Home sellers, best time to sell is behind you. It's the way it is. First 6 months of the year is a better time to sell than the second 6. However, inventory is still so constrained because of that June blip on the radar when rates went back over 7, which by the way, they still are, that still a pretty darn good time to sell, as long as you are realistic. Do not push your luck too far or you will regret it, I guarantee. Last thing I want to show is home prices, average prices per month. Just want to show everyone this. For those that keep talking about a market collapse, take a look. $736,000 average in the month of June in Massachusetts. That is, what, $80,000 more than the June before? I'm sorry, that's a mistake. That's $80,000 more than 2021. It's only a little bit more than 2022, again, because of the softening. But prices are hanging in there. So, if you are a seller, here's my parting advice. Home buyers and home sellers in Massachusetts, if you are a seller, be realistic with your price. Don't push your luck. Do not push your luck. If you're a buyer, if you can afford to buy now, do it. Also, home buyers, look at the buy down options. They somewhat went away for the last 6 months because there were so many multiple offer situations and it was so competitive. But now it gets less competitive. Why? Because we're moving in the better time. We are moving into the better time of year to sell a home, particularly in the fall. It's better now than it was 3 months ago, no question, to be a buyer. Gets even better when you get into fall, September, October. So, if you can afford to buy, do it now. Remember, you can refi later. Because if you can qualify now with a 7% or 6.5% rate, you're going to be able to refinance in a year or 2 or 3 when rates come down. Rates will come down. This won't stay here forever. Might be more than a year, might be 2 or 3. Look at the buy down program. You can negotiate with a seller to give you a larger closing cost credit, and that will enable you to be able to bring your rate down for the first year, 2 years, even 3 years with some programs. All right, folks, stay tuned in to our Instagram, my personal Instagram if you would like. Lamacchia Realty Instagram, Lamacchia Realty Facebook. Stay tuned in. YouTube. Follow us on YouTube. We're always putting out information. We're always putting out reports. We put out more data, more analytics than any other real estate brokerage out there. And our realtors are the best trained, hardest working, most caring realtors in the business. So if you're buying or selling, you need to get yourself in contact with a Lamacchia realtor. That's all, folks. Good luck.